You're listening to Radio Azad, and this is your host, Aisha. Today, we bring you a very, very interesting topic. I wish I could remember what it was and who it was with. It's on brain fog. I have Dr. Neha Kansara with me in the studio. She is a double board certified psychiatrist, and her areas of interest are perinatal, infant, child, adolescent, and adult psychiatry, and especially prenatal and pregnancy and postpartum. How are you?
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity yet again, Aisha ji, to get me on Radio Azad. Thank you so much. I am doing great today. I woke up with a lot of allergies that can also cause brain fog. So, great topic to talk about, right?
Oh my goodness. So I was going to say that me and thousands of my closest friends suffer from brain fog. We struggle with calling our kids by their right names. We struggle with remembering this, what we came to the grocery store for. We struggle with recalling what we ate for lunch, what we have to do tomorrow. And I think it's a term that's just been thrown out without us truly understanding what it's all about. So I'm so happy that you are here today and we are going to be talking about this. So, Dr. Kansara, tell us a little bit exactly what is brain fog?
Absolutely. So, first things first, I want to mention is you're not alone. There's a lot of us that deal with the same or similar issues. There's several causes, right? So, let's first define what brain fog is.
Hmm.
So, brain fog, it could be an interruption in understanding, paying attention, your overall executive functioning, which is performed by the most important area of our brain right here called the prefrontal cortex or frontal lobes.
Okay.
The frontal lobes tell us what to do, how to execute tasks and commands, etc.
Hmm.
When this connection in the brain kind of is secured or insecure a little bit,
Hmm.
there's several reasons that can make us feel like we woke up in a fog. Imagine a real foggy morning.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So when on a regular foggy morning, they are asking you to turn on your headlights when you're driving on the highway. And the
Okay.
reason why are they doing that is so you can get some clarity in vision. Similarly, brain fog, as the name suggests, is like a cloud or a veil or a fog on our brain, which affects our vision, hearing, understanding, attention, focus, memory, concentration. All of these are collectively called executive functions of the brain, functioning by the most important area, the frontal lobe.
Hmm.
That's what the definition of brain fog is, and it can have several causes.
Okay, all right. And you mentioned quite a few different points: difficulty concentrating, there can be confusion, even things like fatigue, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And what I struggle with, I think, has been not having the right words. It's right there at the tip of my tongue. And I'm like, bas wohi cheez, wohi, wo.
Like you cannot recall what it is exactly. When you tell me that, I the first thing that comes to my mind is my husband. He can define everything around it, but
Mhm,
that word, that it's like not clicking, and that happens to me as well. As women, we could go through ups and downs in brain fog and brain clarity
mhm,
throughout our menstrual cycles and through different portions of the month.
mhm,
So when we are closer to our menstrual cycles, about to just have it, the week before that could be the most challenging. To all our female listeners out there, note this down, right? Start monitoring your symptoms. You probably experience the word recall. You experience memory difficulties, connecting the dots, getting thousand things planned
mhm,
and still feeling scatterbrained the week before your cycles. Why is that happening? Hormones, right?
mm.
So that's why men don't experience brain fog as much. They do have a higher incidence of memory issues, but brain fog is per se is higher more in women as compared to men if we do the statistics. And there's several other reasons as well. We just talked about hormones.
Another thing that we as women are blessed with.
Exactly. It only gets harder when you have stepped up that ladder even furthermore.
All right. So, how do you know that what you are experiencing is brain fog? How can it be diagnosed? Is there a way to measure it?
Absolutely. So there's not an actual medical terminology. This is a slang used for brain fog. But I'd
Hmm.
say if there is a constant feeling of fatigue, lack of attention, motivation, memory, recall, at least over a period of 2 weeks, lasting over 2 months to 3 months, and you have not felt like you have been awake, you
Hmm.
need to figure out the causes.
Okay.
There's several ways to diagnose it, and diagnosis also depends on causes because there are
Hmm.
several causes.
Okay.
One of the most important causes is lack of sleep.
Hmm.
Most importantly, what I want to talk about is the change in our time zones. The daylight savings is causing a lot of people waking up with brain fog because of the diurnal variations and the lack of specific serotonin in our brain. So, lack of sleep or over excessive sleep. So,
Hmm.
either people are so tired and they're sleeping for beyond 10 or 12 hours, waking up in a fog because they are having too much melatonin in their brain,
Okay.
or then there are people who are waking up in the dark because they're waking up early and there's
Right.
not enough light. So,
Hmm.
the lack of light exposure, the lack of sleep, or over excessive sleep can lead to brain fog. There's hormones that we talked about,
Hmm.
lack of the right nutrition. In today's world, we're exposed to so many different toxins in the environment, different things that can interfere with our direct amino acid chain balance, things like that. The
Hmm.
right nutrition, dehydration, one of the causes, and most importantly, other mental health issues can cause it. Any forms of depression, anxiety, or brain fog can cause those symptoms. So, if you either have those symptoms where
Hmm.
you are kind of attacking your body with mental health issues, or mental health issues cause brain fog, there's several different ways to diagnose it. Make sure that you are, first thing, most important is doing the most basic thing. It's getting the right nutrition for your body and your brain.
Hmm.
You're getting enough water hydration. Try to stay away from
Oh,
caffeine. I tell people exactly that.
right.
People love their cup of chai in the morning or coffee. Maybe one cup decaf or
Hmm.
green tea is a great idea versus staying on caffeine drive all day, and then the caffeine crashes you and throws you down, causing a brain fog as well.
Interesting.
So, dehydration is one of the leading causes. Sleep is one of the leading causes. Lack of nutrition is one of the leading causes. Toxins in the environment that we cannot control. Maybe your house is infected or infested with mold. Maybe
Hmm.
you're working in an environment where you're breathing bad air or exposed to gases, fumes, oils, paint.
Hmm.
And most importantly, what's the most important cause of brain fog in younger generation? The overuse of their devices.
Yes, absolutely. There
So
is a link, right?
mhm. Yes. When we dump our brain with too much dopamine that
Hmm.
we get from YouTube or Netflix or our favorite shows, and we don't go to bed on time,
Hmm.
we're actually racing or combating all of those neurotransmitters that are required
Hmm.
for us to stay focused, pay attention, go to sleep, wake up at a specific time.
Okay.
If we are fighting with those neurotransmitters back and forth, one day the neurotransmitters are like, you know what? I give up. You do
Hmm.
what you like to do.
Hmm.
Take your phone to bed. Keep surfing. Keep browsing as much as you like,
Hmm.
and then let's see how you wake up the next day.
Oh, goodness.
Yep.
Okay.
So devices is playing a huge role in the younger generation of, and the older people obviously dealing with the other stuff. If you are living in Texas, other main cause is allergies. I've noticed that a lot. Yeah.
Really?
So fortunately or unfortunately, I live on a golf course. I love living on it. It's beautiful. But unfortunately, it comes with its negatives. So when I go take a walk in our neighborhood or even outside, like I did yesterday, I went for a run. It was a beautiful day. I
Hmm.
wanted to do that, but I got attacked. So I woke up feeling like I have a headache. I can't focus. I'm not awake enough.
Hmm.
So when you feel those symptoms, when you're not awake enough, despite of getting the rest and despite of you doing everything correct, like you doing the right diet, nutrition, everything, that's when you want to contact your PCP. Your
Okay.
primary care doctor can and should be able to do certain lab or blood work
Hmm.
to make sure you're not deficient in iron, B6, B12,
Hmm.
D vitamin.
Okay.
It's a huge deficiency of vitamin D in the environment in the North American belt because we're
Hmm.
not exposed to sun a lot. The moment we wake up, we just have to go with the motions of life and sit in our car and drive. We don't get exposed to 15 to 20
Sunlight.
minutes of the sun that we need first thing in the
Yeah.
morning. So,
Yeah.
vitamin D deficiency is a huge cause of brain fog as well. So,
Hmm.
and then hormonal issues that need to be dived into, dwelled into more. You need to
Sure.
figure out all the lab values before you can call it depression, anxiety, or other mental health issues.
I see. So we talked. I know you're an expert in prenatal and postnatal care. So, pregnancy and menopause. I think two areas or two periods of our life where brain fog really seems to set in. Is it
Absolutely.
just hormonal related, or is it just feeling overwhelmed with a whole host of different issues that surround us during
Yeah.
this time?
So, very great question. And the answer is a combination of both,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, pregnancy is one spectrum of a woman's life where the hormones are super high. You're young, you're in a reproductive age group, but pregnancy itself uh, protects you from certain factors. At the same time, the high levels of progesterone and estrogen balance can cause fatigue, sleeping difficulties as you progress throughout your pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
The most important time in a woman's life after pregnancy is the postpartum period where there is a lack of sleep and the hormones literally decided to throw you off a cliff. That's how I describe it to my patients. The
Okay.
first 4 weeks to 6 weeks of your child's life or your
Mm-hmm.
baby just born in your hand gives you all that oxytocin, the love. When those hormones are beginning to decline, that's
Mm.
when you're like being thrown off a cliff without a parachute or any
Wow.
saving device, and you got to save your life. The same kind of situation happens
Mm-hmm.
gradually when we hit menopause.
Okay.
So, a period, a decade or a few years before menopause is the time called perimenopause. And I
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of work on women's mental health on both spectrums, pregnancy, perimenopause. Perimenopause is the time when that brain fog is going to start setting in. So, if you're beginning to feel any of those symptoms, you're probably in your mid 40s. Perimenopause can even occur as early as 35. It's rare, but usually the ideal age for perimenopause is between 40 and 47.
Mm-hmm.
And between after 47, you hit the menopause. So I always tell my patients, you have 10 years to take care of your brain.
Mm.
And if you are a candidate for any sort of hormone replacement therapy or different external hormonal replacements, bioidentical hormones, or for that matter, even natural ways of getting estrogen, progesterone, please talk to your specialized care
Mm-hmm.
provider about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's a lot of people that are not trained to do it. So please don't go to anybody who does not have the knowledge, because then these are external hormones. You want to make sure you are either seeing a functional medicine doctor that has a
Okay.
great background or
Mm-hmm.
your OBGYN to talk about it. But before menopause hits, you have those 10 precious years to start working on your skin, your nails, your hair,
Right.
your
Your
brain,
bones.
everything, your bones, everything. So the
Yeah.
key is to eat healthy and hydrate as much as you can and make that exercise going. Very
Yeah,
important.
absolutely.
Yeah,
But the important thing is recognizing what is happening, because a lot of
absolutely.
times we're going through this and we have no idea. And you talk to your friends and you're like, this is what I'm struggling with. And everybody's laughing about it, that, yeah, we're struggling with it, but we have no idea what it is.
Right.
And then once you don't know what it is, you don't know what to do about it either. There seems to be a connection between long COVID and brain fog.
Yes.
That is something that science is telling us. And, the uh, long COVID sitting in our gut
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
such a long time. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, COVID and long COVID, if you've had a short period of COVID, your body is subject to inflammation immediately. And if
Hmm.
you've had inflammation lasting for more than a month, and inflammation can start from your gut or anywhere in your body, which could have been caused underlying because of the COVID virus,
Hmm.
can affect gut motility. It releases certain neurokinetic inflammatory hormonal signals in your brain that, regardless of whatever you do, it's going to take its own time. A great example and a story I want to share is during COVID, I was lucky that I don't think I ever had COVID. So I
Wow.
lucked out. But I recently had COVID in July. And I'm
Oh.
like, where is this coming from? I mean, we had the COVID wave come back again.
Hmm.
I can tell you that all the symptoms from the day I had COVID were just exactly similar, the cough, cold, but the aftermath lasted for almost a month or 2 months, which disrupted not only my hormones, it disrupted my sleep. It made me more tired, more fatigued, and
Hmm.
regardless of whatever I was doing, it just took its own time. So it takes its own time. But one thing that you can absolutely do to help yourself is make sure you're taking your daily multivitamins.
Hmm.
Zinc is very important. It really helps fight
Yeah.
those, and create an inflammatory barrier in our gut.
Hmm.
If your gut is healthy and clean, so a very healthy probiotic is extremely essential on a daily basis.
Hmm.
So make sure your diet is extremely balanced. That's all I did myself. I said, you know what, this is going to get better. And you have to keep telling yourself,
Yeah.
this is going to end. It's going to get better, because people were like, oh my God, when is this going to end? I see patients in my practice that have had long COVID aftermath brain fog
Mhm.
for even a year or 2 years after having
A
it.
year or
A
two
year.
years.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep. And then there
Okay.
are several factors in their body that are disrupted from their blood work. So
Mm.
every single adjustment in your body needs to be made. The whole point is A, to identify a brain fog,
Mhm.
B, to make sure that you are addressing those symptoms
Mhm.
by yourself, and three is getting the help. And you're right. When friends talk to each other about it, we're all laughing about it because, like, okay, all of us go through the same thing,
Yeah.
right? But what are we actually doing about it?
Right.
So, one thing I actually talked about on my Instagram page was about trying to get 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight exposure
Mhm.
whenever you can.
Okay.
During the winter months, even if you are able to go out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, take a walk after lunch. Take
Mm.
15-minute walk after your largest meal.
Okay.
That can help balance cortisol, a stress hormone in your body, that can prevent inflammation, that can in general try to combat the brain fog.
So even if you're on vitamin D supplements, this is what you recommend to go get out
Yes.
and
Please
walk for
do it.
15
Yes.
minutes.
Of course, in the summer in Texas heat, you could burn. You don't want to do that in the middle of the afternoon. You
Okay.
want to do that first thing in the morning.
Mhm.
So in the summers, adjust your timing, but 15 minutes of sun exposure with daily steps, strength training at least 2 to 3 times a week for 20 to 30 minutes, and
Mm.
just eating healthy and hydrating is the most important basic things you can do for yourself.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. We've talked a little bit about nutrition
Mhm.
and the link with brain fog. How bad is sugar?
Oh my God, it's everywhere, right? You get that question asked. So, refined sugar or sugar added. So, whenever
Mm.
you pick up any labels, I ask my patients to read the added sugar.
Mhm.
Anything that's added to food, processed, or, flour or refined stuff,
Mhm.
you want to avoid.
Okay.
Sugar causes inflammation directly in the body, reducing blood flow to the brain. When blood flow is reduced to the brain, your first thing that's going to happen to you is fatigue.
Mm.
Sugar spikes a hormone called insulin. When we have several spikes of insulin throughout the day, we also crash the insulin much faster than if you were to eat protein
Mhm.
or a healthy fat. Therefore, avoiding sugar and trying to substitute sugar for fruits, dates, or something healthy is
Mm.
a good alternative.
Okay.
Refined sugar is bad. It's just bad in general. It spikes the insulin, it gives you the dopamine, you feel great. But after 2 hours, you feel like you're going
You're
to
gonna
chew up the whole
crash.
world and you're going to crash because you're so hungry after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Kansara, is there a link between brain fog and Parkinson's or Alzheimer's? And if you're experiencing brain fog, are you more prone to developing these later on in life?
So, those are neurological conditions, and Parkinson's, dementia. There are several types of Parkinson's, there's several types of dementia. Some of them are genetically inherited, some of them are causative because of some other causes.
Mhm.
Brain fog is a common symptom or a theme that can occur in everything.
Okay.
Do you have brain fog and that can cause Parkinson's dementia? I would say rarely,
Mhm.
but do you have the symptoms if you have the diagnosis? Absolutely.
Hmm.
So, either way, you need to see if you have a neurological condition, you want to see a neurologist. If you have a hormonal condition,
Mhm.
you want to see a hormonal doctor. If you're having a women's issue, see the right doctor. If you have a psychiatrist, come see me.
Absolutely. Okay, good. That's very good information. How long can brain fog last, and can it create permanent changes in our brain?
Yes, very good question. Always get asked that question, how long am I going to feel this way,
Hmm.
right? It depends.
Okay.
It again depends on the causes. If your causes are easily pinpointed, such as a vitamin D deficiency, a
Hmm.
B12, or nutritional, those are easy to supplement.
Okay.
You can take your daily diet, could be improved. You can
Mhm.
take daily vitamins and supplements. Something as much as maybe perimenopause or hormonal might take longer because your doctor will take some time to figure out how to balance those hormones out.
Okay.
Most women in menopause or perimenopause lack testosterone.
Hmm.
Now, a lot of people feel testosterone, that's the male hormone. No, we all have it. Just like males also have a little bit of estrogen and progesterone,
Mhm.
women need some level of testosterone, and
Mhm.
that dips. So unless we don't adjust the hormones, not too high, not too low, we could feel the brain fog.
Okay.
If your brain fog is because of depression, and seasonal affective depression can make it harder. If you
Hmm.
don't treat it the right way, your brain fog can last for years if you don't realize you've had depression or
Wow.
anxiety. If your brain fog is because of dehydration, that is the fastest one to cure. All you do is add some electrolytes in your water, make sure you're
Yeah.
drinking up 3 times the more water you require. You're going to definitely go use the bathroom a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
but at least you've replenished something immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And then any other neurological causes obviously take longer because there's neurological reasons or medical causes for those. So it's variable based on and depending on the cause of your brain fog.
I see.
Mhm.
And those are some great ways to get rid of brain fog.
Absolutely.
How do we prevent this from happening? Is it that we're doomed to go through this regardless, or can we prevent it?
Another wonderful question. I wish we could predict
Uh-huh.
some markers for brain fog. I would say that as long as you are trying to prevent inflammatory reactions or inflammation to your body, in
Hmm.
short, if you're eating healthy, exercising 3 to 4 days a week, if you're getting at least 10 to 15 minutes of sun exposure, you're hydrating well, avoiding caffeine, most importantly,
Hmm.
trying to limit the use of screens and devices before bedtime,
Okay.
restoring sleep, avoiding alcohol, drugs, nicotine, vaping,
Mm-hmm.
you are at least 50 to 60% ahead of the game.
Hmm.
Can you predict if you will have a brain fog? I guess tell me one person who has not had a brain fog. Everybody's brain fog is, I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I felt great yesterday, but I feel like I woke up with a brain fog this morning, but it's
Right.
allergies. So I have to target what's causing the brain fog and try
Hmm.
to treat it.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people go with the motions of life thinking, oh, it's going to get better. Maybe it's the weather, it's the winter, it's the dark, gloomy days or whatever. It's
Hmm.
it's not. It's just you have to combat and fight it.
Right.
If you've picked up the signs early on, you don't want it to linger for another month or 2 months until it goes for years. So yeah,
Absolutely. And you also mentioned how important it is to have proper nutrients, right?
absolutely.
Aside from nutrition, but nutrients as well. What about fish oils?
Absolutely. Great source of adding to improving circulation in general
Mm-hmm.
and improving blood flow to our heart and to our brain
Mm-hmm.
is 2 capsules of any good high grade fish oil that will help you every day. So I'm vegetarian, but that's one exception I make is sometimes I just break the rules and I say I'm going to take a fish oil. There are vegan forms of fish oils as well, which
Okay.
is really comparable, but fish oils are essential
Mm-hmm.
for creating a barrier for infection. Number one, improving blood flow and circulation, and most importantly is just making your hair, nails, skin kind of cartilages stay
Mm.
in check and intact. Yeah. So
Okay.
extremely important.
Great. Wonderful information.
Thank you.
Anything that you feel we have left out that you want to add?
I definitely want to tell all the listeners that don't feel stuck if you have a brain fog.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel like it's not treated. It is a condition, if you are able to identify the underlying cause, is easily treatable.
Mm-hmm.
Don't also take for granted that once it's treated, you're not going to have it back. It is the most common symptom of any underlying medical, hormonal, mental, neurological condition. So if you have it, don't be dejected. If it's going on for a long time, please make sure you're getting the right help. Like I said, see the right person to get you on the right form of nutrition or even medications for that matter if needed. For example, there's a stigma where people say, oh my God, did I have brain fog and I was depressed all this time, but I didn't have any other symptoms?
Mm.
Well, you probably had the lack of sleep and brain fog, lack of motivation and a drive to just do anything in life, and that's depression.
Right.
So, just like we would treat a hormonal issue or a medical issue, you
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure you're also treating and addressing the mental health issues.
Right.
So, absolutely. And for more insights for any of the listeners, I am on Instagram,
Okay.
and my Instagram handle is Dr. Neha Kansara. Very simple, DRNEHA, last name KANSARA. So, feel free to follow me since I'm doing a lot of videos on these topics.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely. And I think we just need to normalize and destigmatize mental health.
absolutely.
That's very important so we can get the help that we all need. So don't suffer in silence. If there's any message that you are going to take from this show, it's don't suffer in silence. Be aware. Find out about what exactly is going on in your body and then get the help that you deserve. Dr. Kansara, thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you on the show and
Thank you so
really
much.
invaluable information
Thank you
today.
so much, Aishwarji, and thank you so much, Radio Azad. Happy to always be here to share whatever I can. I appreciate it.
Fantastic.